In a surprising and controversial turn of events, the South African government has announced a bold new policy decision that is sending shockwaves across the nation and beyond its borders. For years, the issue of undocumented or illegal foreign nationals has been at the center of political debate in South Africa, with rising tensions between citizens and foreign nationals, particularly in urban areas where resources are scarce and competition for jobs is fierce. But now, in a move that has both stunned critics and given hope to many undocumented immigrants, the South African government has unveiled a new framework aimed at regularizing the status of thousands of illegal foreigners, many of whom have been living and working in the country for years without legal documentation. According to the Department of Home Affairs, this initiative is part of a broader strategic shift aimed at addressing the immigration crisis in a more humane, structured, and long-term manner. The most surprising element of the announcement is the implementation of a limited-time amnesty program, which will allow certain categories of undocumented migrants, especially those who have lived in South Africa for more than 5 years, have no criminal record, and can demonstrate meaningful economic or social contribution, to apply for temporary residence permits or even permanent residency. This amnesty period, expected to last 6 to 12 months, comes with specific conditions, including proof of residence in South Africa for at least 5 years, evidence of employment, self-employment, or voluntary community involvement, a clean criminal record, submission to biometric registration and security vetting. The Home Affairs Minister described the move as a pragmatic step towards restoring order to an overwhelmed immigration system, adding that it's not a blanket pardon but a structured opportunity to bring undocumented foreigners out of the shadows and allow the government to properly monitor, regulate, and integrate them. There are several reasons why this move is being made now. The first is purely logistical. South Africa's immigration and refugee systems are severely overburdened. With asylum backlogs stretching back years and thousands of undocumented migrants living in legal limbo, the government has acknowledged that the current enforcement-driven approach is both ineffective and unsustainable. Secondly, there are growing concerns over xenophobic violence and tensions between locals and foreigners. By creating a legal path for certain undocumented individuals, the government hopes to de-escalate community tensions and promote more inclusive, community-based integration efforts. Additionally, South Africa's economy is in desperate need of revitalization, and many of these undocumented migrants are already playing a role in the informal economy. Regularizing their status could expand the tax base, improve labor protections, and reduce exploitation in unregulated sectors like construction, domestic work, agriculture, and street trading. Unsurprisingly, the announcement has sparked a wave of mixed reactions. Civil society organizations and human rights groups have widely welcomed the policy, calling it a compassionate and sensible approach that acknowledges the complex realities of migration in Southern Africa. They argue that many foreigners living in South Africa without papers have fled conflict, poverty, or political persecution, and deserve the opportunity to live with dignity and security. However, opposition parties and many South African citizens have blasted the move, accusing the government of betraying its own people. Critics argue that the policy could further strain public services, undercut job opportunities for locals, and incentivize more illegal migration in the future. Social media platforms have been ablaze with hashtags like #SouthAfricansFirst and #NoToAmnesty, reflecting deep frustrations among citizens who feel that government resources should prioritize locals first, especially in the face of high unemployment, housing shortages, and rising crime. The government insists that this policy will be accompanied by tighter border controls, enhanced deportation of criminals, and stricter enforcement against illegal entry going forward. It sees this as a reset moment, a chance to clear the backlog and start afresh with a more coherent and enforceable migration strategy. But whether this gamble pays off or not remains to be seen. South Africa now stands at a crossroads. Its decision to give thousands of undocumented foreigners a second chance may either be hailed as a visionary moment of inclusive leadership, or criticized as a dangerous mistake that fuels more chaos. Regardless of the outcome, one thing is certain: this shocking good news for illegal foreigners marks a dramatic new chapter in the country's complex, and often painful, immigration story.